may last about 30 to 45 minutes, or sometimes even longer, depending on the nature of this the problem, or the nature of that particular topic which is being researched. Okay, now a total number of respondents who will be covered through this method will be less, because per person you'll have to spend about 30 minutes minimum, right? And sometimes it can go up to 1 hour. Just think about it. Like if you are going to cover 100 people, you will have 100 hours of data, right? And data analysis and data processing will be very difficult. So you will usually conduct it like you will conduct some depth interview of, let's say, 20 people, and 20 is a good number. It can be considered a very good number. Okay, in certain cases, depending on the complexity of the problem and the heterogeneity of the population. Heterogeneity of the population means if I have a group of, let's say, 100 people, if all 100 are similar, from similar background, similar education, age, and all those things, I can do with just 5, or let's say 10, right? Now if I have kind of huge diversity in that particular group, I will need more people, so that I will get to know all difference of opinions, and everything, what is different about it, I will be able to capture only if I cover a lot more, many more people than, let's say, 5 or 10. More than that I will have to, right? So that's the case. But usually depth interview, you will cover only a small number of respondents. Okay, and depth interview is kind of, it's always unstructured, but the structure of that interview, how far it is structured, will depend on how much you know beforehand. Like for example, if I'm conducting a depth interview for a consumer motivation, I'm asking people, let's say housewives, why do they buy cornflakes for breakfast? Okay, as a breakfast option for their family, right? I'm just asking them, and now let's say I'm asking a housewife, who is not using it. Okay, about this this conflicts, and then I'm asking, like, why are you using, or why are you not using, do you know anything about the nutritional value, all those things, right? Now I know most of the factors which are important in this case. Okay, in this case I can really structure my interview. That means I can actually prepare a checklist of questions which can be asked to this person, right? Now, let's say there is an unknown product which you have never tried, or let's say which is going to be launched. It's a new to the world kind of, product. In that case, you may not really know what all factors should be covered, and so in that case you will keep it very unstructured, you will keep it very flexible, you will have a general guideline on what to ask, but one question and its answer can lead to other questions. So on the moment, as and when, the interview goes on, you will find out more and more questions, okay, from their answers, from what's actually happening, right, between these two persons, right? So the structure of the depth interview will actually depend on how much is known and how much is unknown about that research problem. When you have a complete a list of factors you should cover, it can be very structured. Okay, but in other cases, you will have to keep it little loose. You have to keep it little flexible, right? So that's the case. So depth interviews are usually used to explore ideas, situations, or programs and all those things. Now these are the characteristics which we have already seen. It's conversational, it's engaging. So that's why it's very important to have a very experienced interviewer, because you have to put the other person at ease, you have to make him or her very comfortable, right? And you have to really extract a lot of information from this person. if I'm not very friendly, if I come across as someone very authoritative and not very friendly, the other person may not really speak to me, right? So you have to be very, and engaging. You have to be very pleasant, conversational, right? So that's the one thing. So non-discussed qualitative research it is, and it can be inductive or deductive. Inductive and deductive, these are the two types of logic used in research. We will discuss this aspect only after the entire content or syllabus is over. But at this point, you just understand that in deductive research means, you will know the what do you call it? I can. It actually needs a lot of discussion. Then only I'll be able to tell you. But I'll just explain it through an example. Okay, deductive logic works in this way. Okay, and just giving you two. I'll ask you a question at the end of this. Okay, so listen very carefully. I give you two statements. Okay, I say that all managers are humans. Okay, all managers are human, and John is a manager. Okay, all managers are human. That's statement number one. Statement number two is John is a manager. Now, the deduction or the conclusion I take from this is John is a human. Getting me? I can't see the chat window. I can see only the PPT. So that's why I'm asking you. If you're leaving a question, just let me know. Got it? All of you? Yes. Okay. Now this is a deductive logic. Okay. Where what you have applied is you are moving from the general to the specific. What was general? All managers are human. Okay. And from that general observation, you came to the conclusion that John is a human because John happens to be a manager, right? Got it. Nobody told you that John is human. You deducted it from the first observation. That's a common observation. So from the common, you move to the, specific. That is called deductive logic. Okay. Inductive logic is the reverse of it. Okay. You find that something is true for a specific case. Okay. Something is true for a very specific case. Then in that case, you deduct or you say that you assume that, okay, if it is true for this, then it can be true for any general thing. Okay, if it rains on a, let's say, no, that won't work. Okay, I'm not getting an example. So that inductive logic is applied when you move from the specific to the general. Okay, for example, you conduct a study on FSCT and you find that okay, there are many problems there. Employees are not very motivated or they don't work, and they are simply interested in their pay and salary and leave and all those things. Okay, and then you understand that okay, FACT is a public sector company. Okay, this is a specific case, right? Now, based on that, you assume that okay, public sector companies in general are not great performers, unlike private companies. Okay, now how did I come to that conclusion? I just looked at only one case, right? FACT, one specific case. And from that specific case, I just redacted, I just concluded that, okay, this could be true for any public sector company. That is inductive logic. Okay. Now, deductive, usually all exploratory research will belong to what we call inductive research, or, the logic there used is more of inductive, because you are not covering the entire population. You are just looking at few cases, few respondents. Okay, focus group discussion or depth interview or experience survey. That was one method. We discussed it in the last session, not last, the session before the last session, most recent session. So it's basically you're looking at a specific situation, and then you are just generalizing based on the specific thing. So, but in the case of depth interview, it can be used for deductive and inductive research. Okay. Now, another thing is open-ended questions. Open-ended questions means the questions are very open. You, as a researcher, doesn't give the respondent the options to pick. Okay, they can select anything. For example, let's say I'm giving you an option. I'm asking you something. Are you interested? My question is, let's say, okay. Hmm. Okay, I'm asking you, are you satisfied with the let's say the performance of your present laptop? Okay, and then I'm giving you options like low, medium, high, very high. Okay, the options are limited. You have to pick from these options, right? Now I'm just simply asking you, are you just tell me about how far you are satisfied with your laptop? That's all. Okay, no options. Okay, you can tell me anything, right? So that is open-ended questions versus closed questions. Okay, closed questions will be, like where you will have limited number of options, and the respondent will have to pick from there. Okay, most survey questions or survey questionnaire will